how to confirm those things, those observations. So then I went back to the child psychology books because here I was struggling to find a remedy. And what the child psychology books said that every child is an individual in itself, and even two infants are not similar. They have got their unique temperaments. And when I read this sentence, I was amazed because this is what Hahnemann had said, that we have to find individual remedies. Every individual is different. So coming back to that part of my understanding pediatrics, what I said that I have to first understand what is a normal child. Only when I know what is normal, I can see what is abnormal and I can identify. Understand what is the language of the child. Today I am communicating with you is through English language. But what is the child communicating to you? It is a non-verbal language and we have to understand this language of the child. So to understand the normal development of child, we have to see what are the categories or what are different stages at which a child, an infant goes from infancy to the adolescent stage. And this can be very easily demarcated or divided into four, that is infants, toddlers, preschool and schooling age. Just to give you an example why this is important. Like there was a case of a 9-year-old child. He had a habit of picking up pencils and sharpeners from his colleagues, from his friends, bringing it back home. Now, if you get this symptom, what symptom you'll deduce is that the child is kleptomanic, steals things. But the same thing, if a 3-year-old child does, then you will not take this as kleptomanic. Are you with me? So this means that if you have to understand what are the normal behavior at a particular age, a symptom which is normal for a toddler becomes a pathological symptom when it goes to a schooling child. So today what we'll do is we'll understand the basic challenges in pediatric observation, like what things you have to observe, and then the difference in case taking in infants, case taking in toddlers, and case taking in schooling child. Since the time is very short, I'll just rush through all those points. So the topic for today for me is that infancy, case taking in pediatrics from infancy to adolescence. These are the basic points for which we do a normal case taking. The chief complaints, the mother's history during pregnancy, obstetric history, vaccination, milestone, physical journals, and the most important aspect for prescription is finding out the mentals, the temperament of the child. So the first step towards case taking is identify the age group, infants, toddlers, preschool, schooling age. Then find out what I call as the SAD axis, the sociability, activity, destructibility axis for the child. It's very easy to find out once I make you aware of this thing. Identify the reaction to stimuli. This is the most important differentiating point when you are coming close to remedies, when you are coming to a group of remedies after you repertorize the case. Give a stimuli to the child and see the reaction. Every substance in this world reacts differently. Suppose if I just knock over here, the sound is different, the sound on the plastic is different, the sound on the glass is different, the sound on the metal is different. So the reaction is very important. That will tell you the constitutional symptom of the patient, of the child. Suppose it's a group of people sitting over here and suddenly there is a fire. Not everybody's reaction will be different. Everybody's reaction will depend upon what constitution they are made up of. A Calcarea will go into a panic stage. A Lachesis will try to just sneak away outside this room. And somebody, a good constitutional aurum or a metal remedy will come and try to douse the fire. So the reaction is very important, and more so in cases of pediatrics, the reaction is very important. So reaction to stimuli will give you the final differentiation of remedies. And then identify the thermal thirst and the miasms. In the morning, Dr. Vishpala was saying that we should not base our prescription only on one symptom or one object or only on one concept, but the whole totality has to be taken into consideration. The three-legged totality has to be there. So never ignore thermal, thirst and miasm when you are prescribing for a child. Now coming back to the what do you observe? Everybody says observe, observe, observe. So what basically you have to observe is, you have to observe this interaction between the physician and the child. When the child comes to your clinic, observe this interaction. What is this interaction like? Is the interaction between the patient, between you and the child, is a very happy interaction? Is a good interaction? Then we label this child as an approaching child. Whereas this interaction between you and the child is not a very healthy interaction, and the child is not comfortable, the child withdraws from you, we label this child as a withdrawing child. Is this observation very easy to make in the clinic? Yes? Loudly? Good. Once you make this observation whether the child is approaching and withdrawing, you can divide the whole materia medica into two groups, the approaching group and the withdrawing groups. So approaching remedies are those remedies which when you approach the child, when I go near the child is comfortable, whereas withdrawing remedies are those remedies when I go near the child withdraws from me. So the approaching group of remedies are most of the animal remedies like the snake, the spiders, the bees, few polycrests like the phosphorus, sulfur, tuberculinum, veratrum are approaching remedies. And when you talk of withdrawing remedies, most of the minerals, the sodium, the natrums, the kalis, pulsatilla, silicea, staphysagrea are withdrawing remedies. So when I say approaching remedies, in infants and toddlers, how do you see approaching is that when the infant, they like to play with new toys, they are curious to explore it, they will give you smile to new faces, they will go with new people. The toddlers, they'll allow you to examine, they greet when they come in the clinic or they leave the clinic. I'll just show you brief videos so that you can aware. Don't think of remedies, I am not here to talk of remedies or cases, but I'm just trying to make you aware, make you feel how the child will behave in the clinic. I'll be brushing fast to the remedies. See the infant who is there in the clinic. This is the infant sitting in the clinic. This is very fast forward video, but just see when I'm playing with the child, I'm talking with the child. How is the child behaving now? Is he comfortable with me? Good. So talk to the infant, just play with them, don't ask any question, show them some toys, give them some toys, try to examine the child. Whether the infant allows you to examine or not, that is a key point for the observer. Another infant. Voice is not important, just observe the child. When I am making an eye contact with the child, does the child respond back. What is this child doing? Is the child scared of me? Is the child comfortable? This is the first observation which you have to make. The mother is trying to pull the child back, but the child wants to come forward and have a communication with me, wants to come forward and touch the things kept on the table. I'm just brushing through the video so that you get a feel of what I mean to say when I'm saying an approaching child. The child is comfortable. The mother puts the child on my desk. The child is happy to explore it, have a communication with me, a non-verbal communication.
सब नॉर्मल हो गया
Then we go move on to toddlers.
You are a girl?
With the toddlers, you start now talking to the
No,
child.
girl.
You talk in their own language. Talk about their school. Talk about what they did at home.
Come to me.
Give them some toys to play. Call them near you. When I'm calling this child near me, the child is ready to come to me. He's shaking hands with me. When I'm examining the child is allowing to examine.
कैसे टप मारेंगे
Is the child comfortable? Another toddler.
संगीता ही बुलाते हैं ना जय जय शंकर चल जय जय फिर सा
Parent is asking the child to recite some poem, some religious arti.
हरे हरे कांजी ओम नमः शिवाय पढ़े ओम नमः शिवाय पढ़े
See this toddler again coming inside the clinic. See how he comes. This is a toddler who is walking into the clinic without the parents accompanying him. And when I'm asking him to describe the symptoms,
પેટ સાફ નથી આવતું ને બહુ ગત દુખે અહીંયા દુખે છે પેટમાં દુખે છે ગત દુખે છે અહીંયા દુખે છે નળીમાં દુખે છે બધું સાઈડ દુખે છે મને
so how they walk into your cabin is very important. What they do after they walk into your cabin is very important. Whether they are happy to walk into your cabin or they are reluctant to walk into your cabin.
નથી ખાઈ શકતો
भूख नहीं लगती तो बोल मम्मा नहीं खाती
And he will go on and on and on. These are all follow-up videos, not first-time videos. But even if, as I told you, the constitution, what we are trying to see is trying to see the temperament which does not change. So when it is a second video or third video or fourth video, they will show the same characteristics. Only thing which can temper it down is after the right constitutional remedy, the reaction might be tempered down. but still an astute observer can still watch whether the child is an approaching child or a withdrawing child. It will be more clearer when I am showing you withdrawing child because all videos are follow-up videos, no first-time videos. Observe the hand of the child. What is the hand of the child doing? And observe how they leave the clinic. See this, the child in blue t-shirt, how is it? The mother has already left, but the child is still trying to play with something, fidget with something, do some mischief. He is not ready to go out of the clinic. Now, I also call this child as an uninhibited child. There is no inhibitions when they come to you. There are no restrictions. They are open and try to explore a lot of things in the clinic. So now what we are trying to see, we are seeing children from infancy to toddler to schooling child. This child is showing how he is feeling better. He is showing the breathing. So I need not use the stethoscope to see whether he has got chest congestion or his respiration is better or not. And the same thing is exactly opposite a withdrawing child. They are infants, they are slower to warm up to a change. They will avoid an eye contact with you, to eye contact to new faces. They will not mix with other child. They will not allow you to examine, and they will not greet you when you say good morning or good afternoon. They will not greet you when they come in or they go out of your clinic. Again, few videos to show you that. A toddler.
Hi. How are you?
Risha, how are you karo? How are you karo? Mommy na how are you karo? And I was smoker. One on next side. Risha, mommy na hi karo.
તો બોલવામાં શું છે
ના એ પાસે આવીને
So just
બોલો ચપ
like this, I'll just show you one clip where I will show you proper withdrawing. See, this is a child when I'm trying to examine, is not allowing me to examine the child. See, the time is very short, I'll just rush through the PowerPoint slides. So this is a flow chart for children, approaching and withdrawing child. So 10 minutes. Observe the thermal thrust, everything. So case taking in the infant, again now you understand what I am saying by observation, that you observe whether the child is an approaching child or a withdrawing child. And then you see whether the child is an hyperactive child or a normoactive child. These are the two basic observations which you see when you do a case taking for an infant. And now there are three other points which you have to observe or ask the parents. The first point is about the feeding pattern of the child. Second is how the child cries, the crying pattern of the child, and what is the sleep pattern of the child. So the basic observation whether the child is approaching or withdrawing along with the feeding pattern, the crying pattern, and the sleeping pattern will give you the remedy. These are the points when you see for approaching child. I'll just rush through the points because this is all given in the books. Feeding, whether the child is feeding fast, slowly, what is the quantity of the feed, what is the sleeping pattern, any other concomitants while sleeping, and what is the crying of the child. So just to give a brief example, like we have this a chamomilla child, and what is the reaction when the child cries? Suppose is the child crying, the mother's reaction is very important. So if the child is crying, the mother is working in the kitchen and the child is crying, and the mother can still continue working in the kitchen, and just from kitchen the mother says to the child, okay, don't worry beba, I'm coming, don't worry bachu, I'm coming, and the child stops crying, you can think that this is a pulsatilla child. Because just consoling word from the mother, the child stops crying. The mother need not go to the child and pick up the child. Pulsatilla feels that he is alone in the world and the mother has left him. So the moment the pulsatilla child hears the mother's sound, the child stops crying. Whereas if the same child is crying and the mother has to stop all the work, the mother has to stop what she is doing in the kitchen, first go and attend the child and pick up the child, then it will be a chamomilla baby. The chamomilla child will not stop crying until and unless it is being carried out. And the third situation where the mother, when the child starts crying, and not even the mother, but the neighbors, they come and tell you, "Arey, aapka bachcha ro raha hai, just keep him quiet." That is kind of a Sina baby crying. Not the family members, but even the neighbors are worried about this cry. So the chamomilla cry and the Sina cry, there's difference. The chamomilla cry, the child cries, then come back to normal, again the cries and come back to normal. Whereas the Sina cry, after every cry, the pitch goes on increasing and it will not come down. With the help of repertory also you will understand this thing that the pulsatilla is better by consolation. The chamomilla is better quiet when carried, and Sina, even after being carried, will cry piteously. Sina is a touch me not child, doesn't want hugs and kisses from mother. A very good entry point for Sina. Now coming back to case taking in toddlers, now the toddlers are there who can walk into your clinic, who come to your clinic, and when you examine the child will show its reaction. The second point is you try to provoke the child by giving a stern look or by mildly shouting at the child and see the reaction. Now reaction are two types, whether the reaction is impulsive anger or an inhibited anger. Impulsive anger means when the child reacts, you shout at the child and the child reacts back to you, that is called as an impulsive anger. Whereas the inhibited anger is anger when you shout at the child and the child does not react back and suppresses his anger. He feels angry but he does not react. So in inhibited anger we have remedies like Staphylococcus aureus, Calcarea, Ignatia, Pulsatilla, whereas in impulsive anger we have remedies like Belladonna, Tarantula, Chamomilla, Stramonium. So this is the key differentiating point when you are seeing the toddler. Stimulate the child, shout at the child, "Hey, why are you doing this?" and see the reaction. If the child throws whatever toy he has in his hand on you, then this is a child whose anger is an impulsive anger. Whereas when you shout at the child takes back and he is angry but does not express his anger, this is an inhibited angry child. When you see an impulsive anger, you see whether the child is an extrapunitive anger, that means the child throws things at you, or the child is an intrapunitive anger, which means the child hurts himself, slaps himself, throws himself on the ground. The child hurts himself. So we have extrapunitive anger and an intrapunitive anger. Again, the remedies are there. I will not show this video clip. But again, the reaction of the child is very important. Now understand, there are only two basic reactions which you observe. When I started my lecture, I said that everybody says observe, but what to observe is important. So there are only two basic reactions which you have to observe. The first reaction is whether the child is angry. As the first clip you see, this child on the right hand side, this child was showing an anger reaction. And this child, though I have not seen the video, was showing a fear reaction. So there, understand whether the reaction is either an anger reaction or a fear reaction. Shyness is different. But when you stimulate the child, see whether the child is fearful, is weeping, or whether the child is angry. Is this clear? So once you have a touch me not child, a child who is not allowing to examine, and if you have angry reaction, the child is angry, then the hot remedies are Bryonia, Chamomilla, Platina, Iodum, Sanicula, and the chilly remedies are Rheum, Abrotanum, Mercury, Nux vomica, Antim crude, Antim tart, China, Sina, Hippar-cuprum. If you see a touch me not child, the child who does not allow you to examine, and the reaction of the child is scared, the child is fear, the child is anxious, the child is weeping, then you have this chart where the reaction was anxiety, fear or weeping. The hot remedies are Argentum nitricum, Kali sulph, Gelsemium, Medorinum, Lycopodium, Pulsatilla, Thuja. And whereas the chilly remedies are the Arnica, Calibi, Plumbum, Cocculus, Ignatia, Arsenic, Calcarea, Silesia, Zincum and Magnesium carb. So today what I am showing is I am showing you a few components for you to observe. The first observation was whether the child is an approaching or a withdrawing child. The child allows you to examine or does not allow you to examine. The sociability. So once you know whether the child is an approaching child or withdrawing child, and if you stimulate the child, you see whether the child is an angry child or child is an anxious child or a fearful child. So these are the remedies for angry child and the remedies for fearful child. Now coming back to case taking in schooling child, now as the child grows, one thing which is being taught to child or everybody is very conscious is trying to control the child. So the parents are always trying to instructing the child that don't behave nicely, don't behave out of the turn. Don't misbehave in the environment. Don't misbehave when you go to the guest. When you go to relative's house, don't misbehave. Have you all seen this behavior? Suppose my child comes over here, then the first instruction which I will give to my child is that you are going in a seminar hall, don't misbehave. Masti nahi karna udhar. If you misbehave, then I will not give you your TV time, I will not give you chocolates, and if you behave properly, then I will give you chocolate. So the most important aspect when you are now seeing in schooling child is the obedience part. See whether the child is an obedient child or a misbehaving child. Sorry?
What I am telling is that the bribery starts from this level.
Yes. And that is why this is the most important point for prescription. Sir, Dr. Vai has very nicely said that bribing starts at this level, but I will improvise on that. Not everybody will get bribed. So if you see a tarantula child and if you tell that behave properly in this seminar hall, what do you feel? A tarantula child will behave properly? No. And if it is a carcinosin child, do you need to say that behave properly in this auditorium? Automatically, the carcinosin child will never misbehave in the auditorium. So obedience forms one of the most important aspects when I am seeing a schooling child. Now obedience can be because of many other reasons, can be because with a if the child is being forced by parents, if the child is being forced by parents, then we have remedies like carcinosin, alumina, chocolate, magnesium, viola. If the child is a timid child, thank you. If the child is a timid child, then we have Phosphorus, Calcareous, Pulsatilla, Barytas, Silesia. Why this obedience? Why this child is listening to you? If it is timid, then you have Phosphorus, Calcareous, Pulsatillas, Barytas, Silesias. If the child is timid because of his duty consciousness, then we have Aurums, Magnesiums, Carcinosin. If the child is obedient because he wants good opinion about himself, because wants appreciation, then we have Palladium and Manganums. The child is obedient because he is diligent, obedience plus diligence, then we have Staphysagrus, Ignatia, Lycopodium, Silesia, Barytas, Calcareous, Cocculus, Aurum, Ferrum, Carcinosin, Thuja. Obedient but non-diligent, we have Natrums, Magnesium, Phosphorus and Pulsatilla. So in Sulin child, what we do is we try to see the observation, we try to see whether the child is obedient or not obedient, a misbehaving child, and the final confirmatory point comes from drawing. We ask every child to draw. They are being instructed to draw 3 things: their own drawing, their family portrait, and then they are asked to color a sheet. We give them an animal drawing and we ask them to color. We see whether the coloring is going out or not. The family portrait will give you how the interpersonal relationship between the child and the parents are. That will also give you a lot of insight whether the child, his sibling is near him, he is holding the sibling's hand or is hitting the sibling. That will tell you whether the child has a sibling jealousy or not. How far the parents are close to the child. Are the parents away from the child or very close to the child? So this drawing will give you good insight into understanding the interpersonal relationship. This is a drawing kit which we give. It has to have crayons, pencil, sketch pen, rubber, sharpener, and we ask the child to draw 3 items. Different child will draw different things, and every drawing has got its own meaning. Because of short of time, I will not go into details, but we'll just take one last case, only one case, a very small case so that I can make across my point. This was a case of a slow learner child. This child was a Dhwani, a 7-year-old child, and when she came to the clinic, she was sitting just next to the mother and she was not moving around. In my clinic, we have got lots of toys kept for the child to play with. So we try to see whether what is the child doing. Now this child was, what she was doing was she was taking one toy, playing with it, coming back, putting that toy in the drawer and then started playing with the second toy. The mother said that the Dhoni was a very fastidious and she would also clean her study table. If she spills water while eating, she will clean it immediately. However, in interrogation, it was found that Dhoni's mother was a very perfectionist mother and she was very strict with Dhoni and would want Dhoni to abide by the table manners. She would scold her if, while eating, she would spill the food on the table. Can you guess any remedy? Arsenic, very good. Carcinosin, very good. Then we asked Dhoni to draw a drawing. So I was also very sure of carcinosin and then Dhoni draw this drawing. Can you interpret from this drawing? Any hints? She is in the boundary, good, yes. That shows that the mother is very strict. Usually whenever you ask the child to draw a drawing, they will draw HTP, that is a house tree